Welcome back. I am Jen Potter, host of Networking Now, and I am here with Jennifer Hopson. Before the break, we were talking about the importance of taking care of ourselves and our health and wellness. In her business, she does a whole bunch of different things. In coaching, she has three different tiers, and I asked her which one was her favorite. And while it was really hard to pick her favorite, she talked about which one was the most important. And the most important one is our health and our wellness. And so before, when we were talking about our health and wellness, tell me a little bit more of why you think it's so important to, not just everybody, but business owners specifically.
I think sometimes, like I mentioned, when you have been a person that has been sick or has struggled with health, that's why it takes such a front seat to everything you do. And like I had mentioned, I had watched my mom run her business. I had run several retail businesses, and you see the people that are not just succeeding, but thriving, they don't have those worries. They don't have health issues. They don't have anything coming up or taking care of someone else that has a health issue, right? And I think it's just it really I don't want to just keep saying it's the most important thing, but it's the building block on which you can continue to build other things. When you're an entrepreneur, you need to get sleep because your brain needs to be able to scrub. That's really how it works, right? When you get sleep, your brain, it's like a car wash and it scrubs and now there's no plaque. There's a thing where if people don't sleep, and I know you can relate to this, don't sleep, they have foggy brain. They can't think clearly. They're not as creative. So there is something where we have to be supporting our body. First of all, it's the only one we got. And if we're going to treat it like crap, then it's going to treat us like crap. And we're not going to be able to do the things that we want. We can't be innovative. We can't be creative. We can't show up in the way that we want to. And we really can't support the things that we want to accomplish. And health at its most basic form is taking care of yourself.
I mean, that's so spot on. And it starts with it, like you said, it starts with ourselves and it's really making a focus. And it's so easy for a business owner to say, I don't have time. I don't have time to take care of myself. I can personally say, I probably don't have time, but you make the time. It is so important. I always say, if there's something you truly want to do, you will always make time for it. No matter what it is, if you are willing to work on something, whether it's to, have a specific meeting, to work on your health, to, whatever that may be, you will always make time for it within the course of your day. And, I want like working out as a business owner, I will tell you, working out helps and helps me to be more creative. It helps me to release all of that extra like stress and all that extra tension. And if you probably survey a majority of business owners, especially the really like elite business owners, they'll all tell you that they work out at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah,
I do not work out at 4 o'clock in the morning. Let it be known that
same.
I am still sleeping at 4 o'clock in the morning. Um, there are days that I wake up to go to the gym around 5, but getting up, getting productive first thing in the morning, getting those things like it's taking care of us. And you said it before, sleep. Sleep is so important. And for me personally, I mean, I have a 3-year-old who doesn't sleep,
Yeah.
but I try really, really hard to, to get in bed nice and early, to get, as many hours as I possibly can. Because if I don't sleep, you said it nail on the head, foggy brain. It took 3 takes to start this segment because I'm like, and I can't do this because I have fog brain, right? It's the afternoon and it's hard for us sometimes to like really get out of our heads because we're constantly go, go, go. And we need to be creative. We need to be innovative. You like said it right out the gate. And and there's so many parts to it. There's sleeping, there's eating healthy. Like it's so easy for a business owner to like literally live off of coffee, myself included. Here's the coffee cup, right? I literally live off of coffee, but I have to make sure that I remind myself, don't forget to eat something, making sure that I'm having something balanced. I am more productive when I am eating my fruits, my vegetables, and, constantly going. Integrate it with my coffee, but it's so, so important. So for you personally, so I'm going to totally call you out on all of this because this is what you focus on. What does a typical week look like for you as a business owner? What are some healthy tips and tricks of things that you personally do in order to maintain a healthy, lifestyle and in order to also teach this to your clients?
Absolutely. And before I get into that, the reality of the situation is if you do not make the time, you're going to have all the time in the world soon because you're not going to be able to run a business. You're not going to be able to work. So you'll have all the time in the world if you don't make the time now. And it's not going to be a good thing. It's going to be because you're too sick to accomplish things. So that just has to be said is it's worth it to take the 15 minutes than to have to take a step back from what you really want to be doing. And so for me, the quick, easy tips, and yes, I mean, if you're going to work with any kind of coach, you want to make sure they're walking the walk, talking the talk. They're very, very simple. I start with high protein in the morning, right? Stay away from your bagels, your muffins, your donuts, anything that is going to spike your sugar. So for me, I don't want to have to think about breakfast the majority of the time. So it's a high protein vegan. It's actually vegan. It's a shake. I stay away from dairy as much as I can. For me, I find that it is very inflammatory and it doesn't do well in my gut. That doesn't mean that is what you have to do. There are some days where I want to eat food, so I might make protein pancakes, protein waffles, or for lunch, I had high protein. I had an omelet, had turkey in it, had some veggies in there, right? So you can have some variety is really the word that I'm looking for. And my shake isn't the same every day, right? And now my 2-year-old, he one of his words is shaka, because that is such a part of my routine. He knows what it
Mhm.
is. It's simple. It takes me less than 5 minutes. So the tip is high protein, low sugar, easy to do. Because
I think that that's pretty spot on. I mean, I drink coffee in the morning. I stopped drinking sugar in it just because I don't want that extra spike of sugar. It's great because we're like, ooh, we can start moving around. But the second you come off that sugar high, now you're going into that fog and you're
Mhm.
tired and you don't want to do things. So that high
Yeah,
protein is super important. I find that for myself as well.
and
So I'm the exact same way.
depending on people's nutrition and what they're doing for themselves or with their coach, even the coffee thing for certain people where they are, coffee is gonna suppress your appetite. So if you're a person that needs to be getting higher protein in there, I mean, I will never poo-poo on coffee. I love the flavor. I don't require it anymore because I've adjusted my body. However, you wanna just make sure if you're trying to get more protein, you're avoiding the things that suppress your appetite, but it also goes to what are you trying to accomplish? If you're just trying to feel good, again, I don't understand, honestly. I try to figure out why our breakfast places are donuts, bagels, coffees, all of these things, because all they do is spike your sugar. So that's the tip of the morning. The other one is water. And I know it sounds super simple, but it's water. And the other thing is, if you happen to be one of the very few percent of people that is staying hydrated, just make sure you're also getting some form of electrolyte. That does not mean Gatorade Red, sorry, but some form of good, clean electrolyte through a hydration stick. There are plenty out there in the market. And if you don't know where to look, I'm always willing to share what I do. So stay hydrated. I mean, there's so many ways. I mean, there's so many cups. There's so many bottles out there. There's no excuse of I don't have a way to do it. I do work with some clients that drive a lot, so that can be something that's
Mhm.
very difficult. So you have to get with someone that's going to go, okay, what's your schedule? Let's break it down. What's the easiest way? But my tip is drink water as often as possible. Stay away from the things that spike your insulin. So your sodas, your crazy energy drinks, like they're not good. People with your heart thing, right?
Right?
Stay away from them. If you're grabbing them one every single day or more than once a day, try to stay away from them. If you need a little pick me up, green tea is great, right? Anything that's going to give you something that's going to be stable and not that big spike and then the crash. And then for dinner, when you're looking at your plate, start with the vegetables. Start with the vegetables. That's the biggest part on your plate. Then your lean protein and carbs aren't bad. I just want
I
to say
love carbs. I love potatoes.
and especially as women with hormone health, carbs aren't bad. You can have some that are complex carbs. So you can have your quinoa, your lentils, your brown rice, your sweet potatoes. You can switch it up, but don't be afraid to eat carbs. I mean, I'm not telling you to eat a loaf of white processed bread. It's not what I'm talking about. But if you start your plates, and it's great as we head into the summer, there's so much more available. And that's probably my last tip. As often as you can, try to eat seasonally. There is a reason you cannot go outside in New England and find cucumbers. So if you can avoid cucumbers in the winter and then you get Brussels sprouts or cabbage, try to eat seasonally because it's crazy how the earth was made, but it feeds us the way we're supposed to. So sometimes there's higher levels of vitamin D, like when there's not as much sun. So those types of things, they're very easy to do, they're very easy not to do, but high protein in the morning, avoid sugar, drink water as often as you can, avoid high sugar drinks, start with veggies.
I really love that. And, to touch upon the hydration side, which is so important, this is something that I noticed for my own personal health too, and you said it right. I said I have coffee, but like on the other side of me, I also have another water bottle. And in that other water bottle is not just regular water, it actually has my electrolytes in it. And electrolytes, like you said, they are so important. Go a week without electrolytes, try it for a week, and then come off of it again. And how your body feels is night and day. Like I have noticed such a difference. One, I feel like my body just feels like it's just consistent,
Working. It's working.
right? It's consistent. And having something like with the sodium in it, for me, I have low sodium to begin with, so I have to do high sodium. But the one thing that people don't pay attention to is some of the hydration sticks are actually really high in sugar. So making sure that when you're doing that based off of what Jen said, don't look for the ones that have sugar in them. So some of them taste really, really good, but they're also really high in sugar. And I won't call out any of those brands because one of them I really love. So I still have like that one sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
But there's one, and I'm not paid to say this, but I'm going to say it out loud because it's one of my favorite. It's Elementi. And it is one of the best ones I've ever used. It's super high in sodium. It has really good flavor, and one a day has been one of the best things I've ever done. And it's something that we order consistently here at home. All of my kids use it. They absolutely love it. And you talked about shakes before. My 3-year-old every morning for breakfast makes himself a protein shake. He gets all of the stuff out, and consistently we make a protein shake because that's what he has come accustomed to love. So we
Mhm.
our kids feed off of us, right? And it,
Oh,
it kind of
yeah.
brings it all into one thing. If we're living a healthy lifestyle and we're eating healthy and we're doing these things, they're going to mimic us. Your son knows that you have a protein shake that you have in the morning. My son knows it, and now he even makes it himself. So, paying attention to those things, because not only are we fueling ourselves, but we're also fueling our children too. So I think that that's really important. So thank you so much for touching upon that. And and always be conscious, like you said, with the vegetables. I do the exact same thing. I think that's why we get along so well. We're very, very similar when it comes to doing things. And I think it's really important. But we're going to take another break. And when we come back, we're going to go a little bit more, talk a little bit more about that healthy lifestyle, but then maybe talk about some of the things that happen when you don't do that. So stay tuned and we'll be right back.